they admired their so-called gods, the teachers, and they said, we want to do something in your honor. And the teacher said, okay, please bring stones. Maybe they learned them how they could move stones in an easier way. And they said, but you have to put these stones exactly in that line we tell you. Now the Stone Age people did it, not the extraterrestrials. We did the dirty work. They did it, but they did not realize that the outcome of it were Pythagorean triangles, or always the same distance, or half of the distance. So why should extraterrestrials have done this? They knew exactly these stones would survive for thousands and thousands of years. Later generations, us, we will measure it. We will realize this is not coincidence. We will realize there are Pythagorean triangles. And now the humans will come up with the questions, why? What's behind it? And that's exactly why they did it. They wanted that we start with the questions. That's the day we have now. We have asked the questions. I don't know from which solar system these extraterrestrials have come from. I have no idea what technology they use to make these gigantic distances. I don't know what color they had, how they were exactly looking like. But we have some answers. This planet was visited by beings from outer space. This we can prove in the meantime. We have too much old holy writings and we have too much hard facts. The teachers must have been very sensitive to teach at least some of the humans, which they thought these are the most intelligent ones. And they later became the leaders to teach them in astronomy and in mathematics, because you need mathematics, otherwise you cannot do all these things. I was, just a few months ago, I was in Indonesia. And in Indonesia, there is a place with the name Gunung Padang. It's in the jungle, nobody practically was there. And archaeology says this place must be 23,000 years old, very, very old. And the whole place is composed of really 10,000s of stone blocks. They are volcanic, of volcanic origin, and we call them basalt. The material is basalt. It's very, very hard. And we have no idea who transported all these blocks up to that place. Now, 23,000 years ago, it's very, very long. There must have been teachers. Or another place, Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is in Turkey today. And Göbekli Tepe is again one of the very, very old places, dated at least 11,000 BC. And we have no reason why somebody made some stone structures in Göbekli Tepe. I have a speculation why. Because today, Göbekli Tepe is very near. It's about 10 kilometers away from the place where our progenitor Abraham was living. And Abraham again was writing about extraterrestrials. There is an old text called the Abraham Apocryphic. And there Abraham, he says, he was sitting outside his tents, then he heard a noise in the sky. Some beings descended from the sky, and he clearly say, they were not human. And these beings tell to our father, Abraham, if you wish, we take you out of your planet. You can see your planet from upside. And Abraham says yes, and they go up there. Of course, he understands nothing. Finally, he's coming to a gigantic place which is turning always around its own axis in the orbit around our planet. And Abraham says, but I wish to fall downward to the earth. If someone wishes to fall downward to the earth, that means he cannot be on earth. And then he says, the high place on which we stood, once he turned always upside down and upside down. Of a sudden, I saw the earth up and I saw the stars down. Soon, as you are in a mother spaceship, this mother spaceship will always turn around its own axis, because by doing so, you create an artificial gravity, centrifugal force. But Abraham could not have known this. Abraham was brought up there. All what we have made, we translated it completely wrong. We said Abraham was in heaven. I'm sorry, heaven was space and nothing else. All this is important to know. So many of our ancestors were brought into the heaven. And when I was a boy in school, educated in Switzerland, they told me, if you are a brave man, Erich, if you kill nobody, if you don't tell lies, if you are honest to everyone, and finally when you die, you will come to heaven. Heaven is the place of absolute happiness because in heaven we are united with God. But later, as an adult, when I learned Greek and Latin, I learned that heaven was a place in which fights were going on. Even in our religion, there was a so-called archangel. His name was Lucifer. And Lucifer one day, with his disciples, came to the throne of the Almighty God and said, we do not serve you anymore. And then the Almighty God asked for the Archangel Michael to destroy Lucifer, to throw him out of heaven. So, if heaven would be the place of absolute happiness, then an opposition, a war, is impossible in heaven, which means we have to translate the word heaven into space. And most of our human mythology starts with a war in heaven, not only in this case, Lucifer, in the Jewish Christian tradition, but also in many other myths. For example, in the Greek mythology, we have the godfather Zeus. Before he comes to our solar system, he has to fight in heaven against Kronos. It always starts like this. Now coming back to Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe is just about 10 kilometers away, where Abraham had his stories when he was brought up to the sky. So I suggest maybe in honor of these beings who brought him up, they created this gigantic place, Göbekli Tepe. But that's just one of the speculations. We just today know that, of course, the three pyramids are again orientated astronomically. And the three pyramids, according to modern theories, they represent the belt of the star Orion. Now, the oldest god in Egypt was Osiris, but Osiris and Orion is the same thing, even in the writing form in the hieroglyphs. In my opinion, ancient structures were made by humans, not by the extraterrestrials, but it was the extraterrestrials who guided them, who teach them, who give them the knowledge how to do it. But all the dirty job, we did it. And why have they done it? Simply for us. The extraterrestrials, they knew, of course, that these gigantic stone monuments would survive for thousands and thousands of years. So in the far future, humans will see these stone structures and they will ask the same questions as we ask today. How is this possible? Why have they made such an effort simply for astronomy, such an effort with stones, moving stones around? And then they ask the same questions which we ask now. Why have our ancestors done this? For what purpose? And that's all what you have to know, because this brings you to questions. And what we need for solutions are first the questions. That's exactly what we leave today. We have the questions because of these gigantic structures. Were there extraterrestrial teachers? My answer is yes, of course. They were extraterrestrials. Because in my profession, I do not have only stone structures. I know, of course, the world mythology. I know the relations. I know the old holy books. So when you put all together, no way out, this planet, our Stone Age people, were visited by beings from outer space. They were the teachers in astronomy. And for them, our ancestors made these gigantic stone structures. I'm Erich von Däniken. Join me next time on Beyond the Legends.